Well, hello there. My name is Andrea Zonis. Today we are going to be talking about the Four of Swords. So I always find it so interesting when a common theme starts to pop up in my readings. And this week it's been the Four of Swords that has been following me everywhere. I would say about 90% of my clients got this card this week. So let's talk about it. Because within tarot, as you know, the meaning changes depending on who you're reading for. All right, so we're going to talk about some of the common meanings to the Four of Swords. This is the Ryder-Waite version here. So you can see there is a guy and he is lying on what seems to be a tomb, which is really interesting. My favorite part of this card is actually in the far left corner, where we see this beautiful glass window that's coming up. And if you look closely, it looks like somebody giving back to somebody else. And I love that stained glass interpretation that comes forward. So within the Rider-Waite, one of the classic meanings of this card is rest. So, have you been overdoing it lately? Running around, getting your kids' Halloween costumes, getting everything ready for the fall? Well, perhaps for you, then, this is talking about taking some time to rest and relax. But what's interesting is that I like what he is doing with his hands. So there's this feeling here. So when we do this, there's a very contemplative kind of energy that comes forward. This kind of reminds me a little bit of Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. But I don't think it's quite that dark. It's just that sense of prayer that comes forward, or just that sense of bringing your fingertips together and connections that come about as well. So there's a contemplative kind of energy that comes forward within the Four of Swords. So when we break this down, fours are talking about building boundaries, structure, these kinds of things. And swords are representing the mind. So the way that we perceive or think about things. So within this card, as we talked about, perhaps that this man here is doing some contemplation, doing some thinking. He has the three swords that are up on the wall. Three of swords represents some heartache, right? But he's got the final sword. He's got the ability to be able to resolve him, and it's just right underneath him. So with that, the one of the meanings that I really love about this card is talking about the Four of Swords, and this is the Rohrig Tarot. So I like the word truce because I do feel that there is a sense of resolution that comes forward within this card. So when we are able to get our thoughts in order, then we are able to find more clarity. We're able to know what's really rock solid, but also be able to visualize or put energy out into what we want to create. So, with this, the idea of truce and resolution is to put everything out on the table. So, there's a strong sense of honesty that comes forward within this card because you have to be really honest with yourself if you actually want to have a resolution, right? You got to take all of your ideas, you got to take your thoughts, you've got to take your feelings, and you've got to put them out on the table. And I know that sometimes that can be a little scary to be that honest, especially if this resolution that you're seeking is coming forward from a partner or a friend or a family member. But the Four of Swords, the other meaning is resolution. So finding a truce, finding a way to be able to resolve a conflict and to be able to be honest, forthright, and to find a sense of clarity. And that is something that is so, so important. The other meaning of this card, and we see this coming up within, this is the Mother Peace Tarot. So we see a woman and she's in a pyramid, and I love the chakra image that comes forward. And in this case, the swords are holding space for her or protecting her. So she's going deep within her thoughts. She's going deep within herself and taking time to be able to meditate, contemplate, and reflect to find alignment. Because that's the other thing that comes forward within resolution is that you have to find your own sense of alignment with the new truths that are being presented. Because, of course, perception is everything. It's, he said, she said, and the truth. So, how we look at things can really define our own sense of personal truth. So within this card, this one strikes me as more of a future planning card. And so fours love planning and structure and lists and logic, and so do swords as well. So those two energies go so well together. So with this, perhaps for you, this is a time of getting all your ideas down on paper. Taking a rest from your day-to-day routines and getting your ideas out. Because the first step to making things happen is, well, first you got to love it, right? And then you got to have a good feeling about it. And then you got to start developing it and getting creative. And then you got to come up with the plan. So that's what the Four of Swords is talking about, is what is your plan? What is your vision for the future? All right. And then finally, we've got the Wildwood Tarot here. And again, this is the Four of Swords. In this deck, they call it the Four of Arrows. So little bit of a different interpretation. I love the butterfly that's sitting on a branch because, again, there's that energy around resting or like taking time, or perhaps you've just completed a whole bunch of changes that have just come about. And like this guy here, that you're just exhausted. But you'll notice if you look closely, none of these arrows got him. So perhaps there's been a struggle for quite some time and that you're just needing to lie down and rest. And it's amazing how a really good sleep can, it can solve everything sometimes. So maybe you want to go to bed an hour early. Maybe you want to set up your kids with a video and just take some time for yourself, because that is so, so important. So it's so interesting when learning tarot, finding out about all of these different themes and these different meanings. And what it does is that it adds to the richness of the interpretation that comes forward when you're reading for people. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I do have my tarot classes that are starting up. We have the Tarot Wisdom certification and we're almost full. We've got a really great group of people that are coming together. So I'm really excited to share all of this information, and we're going to be doing lots of exercises and group participation. So this is about you developing your own personal connection with the cards, and from there accessing your innate intuitive abilities. You know, as we breathe, we also have intuition. As we have a mind and the ability to think, we also have an inner voice and an inner world. And so sometimes it's just taking the moment to explore that and to listen to all of the beautiful wisdom that you have to be able to offer this world. And I know you got it because I've been doing these fantastic intuition days, and you've all been reading your interpretation of the oracle card that we've been putting forward, and the messages have been so beautiful. So I know that this is in you, and I'm just here to help guide you and to help you remember your own amazing, innate, intuitive gifts. Well, I am off to a busy day of readings, so I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Lots of love to you. And if you need me, book in a session, psychicsong.com. Peace, love. Till next time.